The psychology of money is really about the psychology of you, the individual. And Same as Ever is about the psychology of us, the collective. I've always just been interested in what's going on inside of people's heads. I'm a finance writer, but I've never been interested in trying to predict what the stock market's going to do next. I've never been interested in trying to figure out what the economy is going to do next. I've always just been interested in trying to figure out what is going through people's heads when they are making decisions with money. That's always what's interesting to me. That was where psychology of money came from. The other thing that has really struck with me, there are two things that really led me to write Same as Ever. One is as an amateur student of history. I'm always captivated when you're reading history about something that happened 50 years ago or 5,000 years ago, and you think to yourself, that's exactly how it happens today. Like what they were going through, the emotions that they were going through, the feelings, the biases, the decisions that they made are exactly what happens today. And when you read enough of these things throughout history, you realize how much does not change over time. So how people respond to greed and fear and risk and uncertainty and opportunity is the same today that it was 50 years ago and 100 years ago and 500 years ago. So that was always really interesting to me. The other thing that really got me into this was just the observation as a financial writer about how bad we tend to be as an industry at predicting what's going to happen next, at predicting what's going to happen next in the stock market or in the economy or who's going to win the next presidential election. Like no one is any good at this by and large. And so there's two things you can do with that. Number one is you can become even more of a cynic and just say, nobody knows anything. You don't even try. It's not even worth trying to predict. Or I think you can take the first observation and say, there's actually a lot over history that never changes. And Voltaire had this great quote where he says, history never repeats itself, but man always does. And I think that's really gets to the core of this. And so rather than putting all of your emphasis into that, the unknowable, I want to put all of my emphasis into things that I know are going to stay the same over time. And so that's really where the core of this book came from.